Pinterest, just like all other technology, software, and other social media platforms, is always making updates. And of course, it's virtually impossible for me to update the course every time something new happens. And I've already shared here in the first section of the course how you can make sure that you stay up to date with Pinterest latest features or any other updates, Pinterest best practices. So if you haven't seen this video yet, be sure to watch that. So you have all the links and all of the resources that you need. But sometimes updates like this one, it's very important for me to actually clarify to help you actually succeed on Pinterest, because in this case, for example, we're going to be talking about hashtags. This is something that Pinterest actually used to recommend, and now they're actually recommend you to not use hashtags. So first of all, if you see throughout any other videos here in the course something regarding hashtags, please disregard if I say that, for example, you should include hashtags in your description, 3 to 5, this is the best practice. It's because I haven't gotten to updating that specific video yet. So this video, obviously, the latest video takes precedent over that. And I also want to say, do not panic. If you used to use hashtags, don't worry. I personally do not think that Pinterest is going to be penalizing everyone who has any hashtags on any of their pins in their accounts. Because as I said, this is something that they actually used to recommend. They first introduced hashtags into their platform, obviously purposefully. And just like with Instagram and Twitter, they were used as search terms where you actually used to be able to click. And you can see right here one of our old, one of pins when hashtags were something that was actually recommended. We included hashtags at the end of our description. They even used to be clickable to where you would see something, for example, Mexico travel, and you'd be able to click on it. And again, they would act as a search term, and the results would show up with related content to Mexico travel. So I really do not think that Pinterest is going to penalize everyone who has a hashtag in their account, because honestly, this will come to pretty much most of their users and most of their really successful users. And of course, Pinterest hasn't given us too many details about how they're dealing with this or what kind of penalization, if they're marking accounts as spam. They haven't given too much information regarding that. They're only saying that now they recommend you to not use them. And the reason for this is actually because people have actually abused the use of hashtags on the platform. They started using way too many hashtags or descriptions that only consisted of hashtags, and sometimes hashtags that didn't even have anything to do with the pin content. Sometimes it was inappropriate pins and things like that. So Pinterest decided to just remove the feature and the ability to actually use that as a search term, and that's why now they're saying do not use hashtags. But as I said, do not panic. Just use this new information from now on. Do not include any hashtags anywhere in your account. Don't include it in your pin descriptions, in your pin titles or board descriptions. Try to not use it. Of course, certain platforms, especially when you are actually sharing content from different platforms like Instagram, for example, sometimes they come with hashtags. So that's another reason why I do not think that Pinterest is going to be really penalizing people heavily when there's something with hashtags. Maybe your pin will not be distributed as well or as much. So what you can do is from now on to not include hashtags. And also, if you really want to, you can go back into analytics and look at your top performing pins, and you can go ahead and edit the description of those pins only. It would be really time consuming to go ahead and edit all of your old pins. So I honestly don't think that this is something you need to really stress out about regarding your past pins. And now I'm going to show you how to actually optimize your pins moving forward without using hashtags and still being able to include highly searched terms that you have encountered during your keyword research and that you can actually use without making your description look really bad. So whenever you're going to create a new pin, if you're going to create one that is image based, so let me go ahead and drag this one right here. You're still going to have the title section that you're going to add the title just as we showed here in the course before. You're still going to have 500 characters for your description, and I still recommend you to try to incorporate as many highly searched keyword terms as you can in a more organic description. So something more reader friendly, full sentences, and do not keyword stuff your description. And of course, no hashtags. And now what we actually have, and you may have already seen this before this video, is this button, Add Alt Text. So if you click right here, you're going to see that you have 500 characters where you can tell search engines what your pin is about, where your image is about, and where your content is about. So alt text was actually it started for disability purposes. So people, for example, who are visually impaired, that they cannot see your image, if you go ahead and tell Pinterest or Google or any other search engine what your image is about. And that's why also I talked about naming your file with your highly searched keyword term, then those search engines do not have to actually analyze your image and make that decision for you. You can tell them what your image is about and what your content is about. And right here, you can paste highly searched keyword terms, obviously, that have to do with your image and your content. So you have 500 characters for that, which is a great, great way, in my opinion, even better than hashtags. Hashtags, in my opinion, look really ugly and are very difficult to read. So now in the search terms that you cannot incorporate in your description, or you can even repeat them, of course, you can add them as alt text. And you have an additional thing specifically for video pins. So I'm going to go right here and drag this video. And with video pins as well, you can add your title, as I've already mentioned here, just the same way. You can also add your description, and you can also add the alt text. This is still the field for alt text, same thing as I just mentioned with images. But with videos, you have the ability to add tags. And with tags, you do have to choose some of their existing tags. You can just add any words that you want, but you can still find related content and you will be ranking for that content. So for example, here, let's say I want to do like Croatia travel. I can just start typing and then wait for the results, and then you can select one of their options. So here I'm going to select travel Croatia. And next, let's say I want to do adventure travel. So start typing adventure travel or adventure, and then you're going to find all of the options like adventure time, adventure travel. And you can, for example, select and try again, do adventure, and then select the adventure type. So you are limited to their existing tags, but this is just another opportunity for you to rank and rank well and optimize your pin for you to be showing in all of these related content and interest. People, maybe they're not even searching for Croatia travel, but they're interested in adventure travel, and then they find your pin regarding Croatia. And of course, with video pins, you just go ahead and you can select your cover by dragging over here, and you would pin as you normally would. So I just wanted to quickly give you this update. And if you guys have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And as I said, if throughout future videos you see me referring to adding hashtags, disregard that part of the video. And I'm always doing my best to keep this course updated for you guys, for you to all succeed. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, we're going to optimize our account and our profile. We'll start by our username, and that's going to determine our Pinterest profile URL, like pinterest.com/username. So you definitely want to be intentional about your username. And like I mentioned before, you should probably match your username with your other social media platforms, so it's easier for your followers to find you from one platform to another. Next, we're going to optimize our display name. And then next, we're going to optimize our bio. And then we definitely want to be using relevant keywords here, not only to tell visitors, again, what you do more specifically, but also what they can expect from your account, what type of content they can expect from following your boards. And we want to be very intentional about using keywords here that we found doing our keyword research, because Pinterest definitely looks at our profile description, our bio, to index us for those keywords. So if there are users that are interested in travel destinations, for example, if I have that exact keyword in my bio, then Pinterest will match and recommend our account to those users as well. And then for our bio, there are two ways that you could go about that. Well, there's several ways you can go about that. So you can use 160 characters as of right now. And I would recommend that you either follow the stop formula here, especially if you're a business providing a specific service or a specific product, which is I help blank to blank by blank, and then the call to action. And I'm going to show you guys an example. And then second, you can use relevant keywords and keyword phrases and separate them by slashes or dashes, something that it can break up and not just look like random keywords. And this is probably, the second one's probably what we're going to use. We're going to optimize our account together, because right now we're not offering a specific service. So we want to make sure we tell them what we're all about in as many relevant keywords as possible, but also what they can expect. And we're going to create this together now. So first, we're going to go to our Pinterest account, and then we're going to click on our profile picture and then edit profile. And then I'm actually quickly just going to point out our username. Our username is Sumner and Allie because it's also our username on Pinterest, on Instagram, and the name of our YouTube channel. So I'm going to leave it as is, so that one's already optimized. And then for our display name, again, we're going to do Sumner and Allie. And after my keyword research, I'm actually going to change this, because there's not a lot of results for travel vloggers. It's mostly for travel vlog. So I'm going to change this a little bit. So full-time travel is actually better than digital nomads. So I went ahead and optimized my display name, and now let's go ahead to our bio. And again, you have 160 characters here. And like I said, we're going to follow that second option that I've suggested. I'm going to start by saying what people can find here, what we're going to be talking about the most. So I would say we want to inspire people. We want to inspire people. We want to give them tips around the travels, like where to go and what to do and all those different things. So I'm going to say travel inspiration, which is a very highly searched keyword, as we saw. Travel inspiration and tips from, and then we want to give authority, like who's giving us this travel inspiration and tips. So from full-time world travelers. And then next, I'm going to also use that other word because a lot of people are looking specifically for digital nomads. So I will use digital nomads here, digital nomad couple. And then I want a call to action for people to follow us. So I'm going to put follow our adventures and travel destination. So using a lot of those keywords that we found through our weekly travel blog. And there you go. Now they know that they can expect at least a weekly travel vlog. So that type of content, they know that we're going to be talking about travel destinations, travel inspiration, and tips. But before I end this video, I wanted to show you guys really quickly the other option. So let me go. Oh, there you go. Here's Sumner profile, and as you can see, he says, "I helping individuals and businesses increase profit through Amazon FBA by providing free tips, tutorials, case studies, and our $20 Amazon course." He says who he helps, like who is his target audience, and what he helps them achieve. And by doing what is he offering? What kind of content is he offering to actually help this target audience achieve? And then lastly, he has the call to action to follow for more. So those are two ideas of how you can optimize your bio. With that being said, let's go ahead and get to the next video. This is one of the most important videos in the whole course. So make sure you pay attention because we're going to be talking about how to optimize your content. So we're going to cover everything starting with the board titles. So with board titles, it is obviously very important in terms of organization. So when someone's visiting your profile and they don't want to just look at all of your pins, if they are interested in something more specific, like if you sell jewelry, if they just want earrings or if they just want necklaces, all about organization, it's really important to have separate boards so they can go to whatever they're more interested in. However, do not ignore how you actually name those boards. So let's say you have a board about recipes. Instead of having yummy and then smiley face, that's not gonna help you much in terms of optimization. My tip is for you to use Pinterest category names, so the exact wording that Pinterest already uses to categorize content for your board titles. So you can use obviously category names, you can use interests. So remember when we talked about when you go to create ad and you get to those interests and there's like broader keyword terms, I'll show you real quick. There you go. So when you're here creating a campaign, you can see that Pinterest already organizes all different types of interests and content using these specific keywords. And obviously you can get more specific once you expand this. So if I go to travel, for example, you can see like travel destinations. I already have a board called just travel destinations in general, but I can get more and more specific into Europe. So like the name of the countries. And I usually like adding like Croatia. I put Croatia travel or Turkey travel. So this is a great way to start optimizing your board titles. And also during your keyword research, your highly searched broad keywords are very useful as well. And broader keywords is better because then you don't have so many boards. It's broad enough to where, I know it's all about one country, but maybe I don't go specifically to cities unless that is my niche. If let's say I'm only doing United States travel, then maybe I want to have different boards for every single city or state. It's all up to you, but in general, it's better to have a little bit more of a broader term so you can put as many more relevant pins in it as possible. Next, we have board description. Something, as I mentioned, that so many people ignore, but it's such a waste of real estate because those keywords really help you get seen whenever someone's searching for those types of interests. So what I like to do is give a quick description, something a little bit more emotional regarding that topic, and then I put as many highly searched long tail keywords as possible. So I'll show you an example. All right, so if you see this board, it's called Turkey Travel, and here's a description. What an incredible country. I think you will be surprised by this country's beauty, nature, people, and food. In this board, you will find everything about Turkey travel guide, Turkey travel Istanbul, Turkey travel Antalya, Turkey travel destinations, Turkey destinations, all that. So I have the, let's say, less spammy sort of description in the beginning, which is my honest opinion about Turkey. And then at the end, I put as many keywords as possible. Now, this is up to you. I've had questions about people saying, is this not going to trigger anything on Pinterest? It's like spamming people with all of those keyword stuffing, and it's up to you. I've not had a problem, and I think that when you have this mix of keywords with more of like a text base, it puts you in a safer spot for sure. But it's completely up to you. This is what I do, and I've had great results with that in all of our other Pinterest accounts. Next, we have pin title. Extremely, extremely important. You have 100 characters to use on your title. However, the first 30 to 35 characters are very important because that's what shows on your feed. So in terms of optimization, all 100 characters are important. If you have a very important keywords towards the end of your title, it's the same. It's going to help you optimize the same as the first 30 to 35. I just say that the first 30 or so characters are important because that's what shows up on feed. So as you can see here with the titles, you can see the beginning of the title and then you have that dot dot dot. So obviously most people get caught, their eyes get caught by the image, but then maybe they want a little bit more information before they click, and obviously they're going to look at the title. So the first few keywords are very good for you to grab people's attention or for you to display the most important part of your content. And towards the end, obviously you still want to use highly searched keywords, so that's very important. So again, use your main keywords, the most relevant keyword phrases to the piece of content that you're promoting, and also try to match that destination page keyword. So if it's a blog article, what is the title of your blog article? Hopefully you're writing blog posts already based on keyword research, but it really gives relevancy to that pin when it matches as well. Next, we have our pin description, and that is up to 500 characters. And I believe you should mix between broad and narrow keywords. That's the best way to go. You can craft a really nice description, a personal description, more emotional description, by using both. So you can do like, just like as I did with Turkey, you're gonna have an amazing time in this country. Turkey is filled with nature, food, and history. In this blog post, you're going to see the best things to do in Turkey. And let's say that's a long tail keyword, best things to do in Turkey, and know exactly where to go and best times of year or something like that. So you can mix in broad and narrow. Obviously, Turkey is already a broad keyword, or Turkey travel, broad keyword. So mixed in. And at the end, not a lot of people do this, but I highly recommend that you include a call to action. So call to action can be anything, as the name says, that will entice the user to do something. So a lot of times it's just like click now or read now, learn more by clicking on the link, or shop now, anything. And I like to include some of a sense of urgency, like now, not just like learn more, but just like learn more and don't miss out. Anything that gives you a sense of urgency. It might seem irrelevant, and a lot of people do not read the full keyword, especially if you fill out all 500 characters. But when they do, you would be surprised by how much just having that call to action will increase your pin clicks, the actual clicks that goes to your website to increase traffic. Next, we have alt text. And that is the secret sauce that so many people ignore as well, because first of all, you have up to 500 characters that you can put as many keywords as you want. You can use highly searched keywords, relevant of course, and it is a great place for you to put misspellings. So let's say you have highly searched keywords, but they sound kind of weird. Like for example, best products Amazon. Best products Amazon. I can totally see someone typing that, but that doesn't really make sense in a phrase for you to actually put that in the pin description. So the alt text is the perfect place to put that highly searched keyword phrase. And as I said, you can do up to 500 characters. The reason for alt text, it is for disability purposes, also for pin to really understand what your content is about. So it's both. So a lot of times people just put one phrase to kind of describe the image, but I believe that you're missing out if you're not putting as many relevant keywords as possible on that alt text, because it helps Pinterest understand your content and show it to more people. Next, we have tags, and tags are only available when you create video pins. So up until you load the video pin on the graphic side, they won't be showing up. If you load a video pin, then you're going to see the tag section, and you can add up to 10 tags. And those are not just whatever you want to add. You need to actually type in and find already predetermined categories or niches that Pinterest already has to select one of those. So if you do if it's wedding invitations that you do, Start typing in weddings, then you're going to see the pop-up of all of the things related to weddings, and you can click weddings, wedding invitations, wedding stationery, anything that is relevant to your piece of content. That is an option when you start typing. Next, we have the URL, and you might not know this, but Pinterest actually looks at the keywords on the URL as search terms as well. So it definitely helps with optimization. So if you have control over your URL, like for example, if you have a blog, if you're a blogger and you can choose that permalink, then be very intentional about your keywords that you use on the URL, not only for Pinterest, but that really helps with Google SEO as well. But if you don't have control over this, do not stress about it. It's not huge. All of these are just tips to help you improve if you have the opportunity to do it. But if you don't freak out. It's fine. Use whatever URL you have. Next, you have the pin image that you definitely have control over. So you want to be intentional about that. And something that you may not know is that Pinterest actually have what's called OCR, optical character recognition. So their bots actually study the image to see objects or whatever's on the image and relate to people's interests or relate to content. So I mean, that's a given, but you definitely want to use images that have to do with your content. If we're talking about beach destinations, then we don't really want to have like someone sitting in their office with a computer or anything that has not that doesn't have to do with beach. You want to have a photo that has to do with a beach destination or something like that. That's going to help Pinterest understand your content and show it to the right people and increase your traffic. And last but not least, we have metadata. So we've used this word a couple of times. Metadata is any sort of back end data that you give an image, that you give a website, anything that you can input information and you can't see it, but it's on the back end. So the way that you can do this is by naming your file whenever you're going to upload a video or an image. Make sure you name your file with the main keywords that you want to use for that piece of content and the metadata of the website. So whenever you can add as much information on the source content as well, that's going to help you rank for sure. So I hope this was helpful. Again, this is an overview we're going to be covering. We're going to be doing this together step by step, but I just wanted to give you kind of like this checklist for you to know everything that you can optimize to guarantee that you're going to be seen by a lot of Pinterest users. So if you have any questions, be sure to leave those in the Q&A below, and let's go ahead and get to the next video. Now that we know all about the optimization of our Pinterest account, I want to quickly show you guys what are the main pin ranking factors and the order that Pinterest is looking at your pin in order to rank that for that specific search term. So the number one is the pin title. As we talked about, that is definitely where you want to put the most important keywords that you find during your keyword research, and that is the first place that Pinterest is going to look at in terms of ranking your pin for a certain category, certain search term. Number two is the pin description. Also, you want to utilize that space to put as many search terms and as many keywords that you found as possible. But obviously, as we talked about before, always not looking spammy and actually trying to make sense of your description. And then third, we have the URL. And a lot of people might not know this. We talked about it during the optimization videos, but if you have the power to edit your URL on your blog or in your Shopify store, if you can input relevant keywords in your URL, Pinterest also look for this consistency, the relevancy of your URL in comparison to the keywords you're trying to rank for. Then number four would be the board name. As we talked about, so important. So many people do overlook the importance of optimizing your boards. So actually number four on the ranking factors is already the board name. So that's huge to get your pin ranking higher for that search term and for that topic and niche in general. And then next we have the board description. So again, we want to be using those main keywords everywhere in the board name, board description. Even if you have a very specific pin title, for example, if we're talking about travel, we want to see that the board relates to travel. If it's an unrelated board, then that's going to count against you on Pinterest ranking factors. Then next we have the page title and description. So the actual content, the actual destination page, how well does that relate to your pin? And how well does that relate to that keyword that you're trying to rank for? So again, you need to be, it's not only about optimizing things on Pinterest, you need to optimize things on the destination website as well, as much as you can. And then next, we have search queries that lead to clicks. That means what are users typing into Pinterest that when they see your pin, they click on it. So sometimes you're trying to rank for travel destination, but what people are typing in are like adventure, and then they see your pin, and that's going to lead to click. So, I mean, obviously, it's great that you're showing up for related keywords, but are people actually clicking on your pin when they are typing in the keywords that you're trying to rank for? So, that's also a ranking factor that Pinterest looks into when deciding how well your pin is going to rank for that keyword. And then 8, images. We talked about this during our SEO videos, but yes, we want to be intentional about not only the Pinterest, the image text and the keywords that we use on that Pinterest text, but also the metadata, the alt text that we're going to be using on that image. Then we have pin cohesion. And what does that mean? That is pretty much how consistent you are with all of these ranking factors. So it's pretty much a double point that you get by being consistent with all of the previous ranking factors. If your keyword in your title and the search queries that lead to clicks, URL, board name, board description, if all that is cohesive and is consistent to what you're trying to rank for, you get pretty much a double point, and Pinterest already also awards you for that cohesion. And then last but not least is pin engagement. And I actually have not talked about pin engagement that much so far in the course. And what I mean about pin engagement is, and I'm going to go to Pinterest for this, when someone opens your pin, obviously what you want is for them to click on the URL and be directed to your website. But what also counts is how well people are engaging with your pin. So you can see here that you can, for example, submit a photo if you have tried this. Now Pinterest now that has this new feature called Tried It. So, and it's in all kinds of different pins. Right here I have a recipe, but it goes for a travel guide or a lot of different types of pins, travel guide, blog posts, products. You can come here and you can submit a photo as a user if you have tried this before. And we see here that this specific pin has over 20 photos, not to mention 2 comments. And what people are saying about this pin, a lot of times they want to say, oh yeah, I bought this baby bottle and it was really great. My baby really liked it. I definitely recommend. So all of this and likes and the amount of times that people actually clicked, or if you have a carousel pin, if they swipe through the photos, through the images, all this counts as pin engagement. So that's why you want to be enticing with your titles, enticing with your description, and actually get people to read it and to engage with your pins, because that does count for the ranking factors of your pin. And I just went quickly on this because we've already talked about a lot of the details about this. I hope you guys found this helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know in the Q&A below, and let's go ahead and get to the next video.